All right, so are you ready for some FA Cup action?
Oh, absolutely. Always up for some cup drama.
This week, we're diving into a really interesting matchup. Manchester United, they're the defending champs, right?
That's right.
Going up against Leicester City.
Yeah, should be a good one.
And we've got all the intel, all the good stuff.
All the ingredients for a cracking match.
Predicted lineups, we've got injury reports, all sorts of tactical nuggets to dig into.
Yeah, by the end of this, you'll be like, you're right there on the sidelines with the manager.
Exactly. So let's set the scene a little bit. We've got, as you said, the defending champs, Man U.
Mm-hmm.
But Leicester, I mean, they haven't been in the best form in the league, have they?
No, they've been a bit shaky, sort of fighting to, stay out of the relegation zone.
Right, exactly. A bit of a David and Goliath situation, you could say.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. But here's the thing with Leicester.
Okay.
They've shown they can really turn it on in the FA Cup. I mean, think about that last round
Oh, yeah.
against Arsenal.
That was a wild one.
It was. They were down a man for like what felt like forever.
Yeah, a red card early on. I thought they were done for.
Me too. But they held on, took it to penalties, and pulled off the upset. So don't count them out.
That's what I love about the FA Cup. Always a chance for some magic. All right, so let's break down these teams.
Let's do it.
Starting with Manchester United. We've got some interesting stuff in their predicted lineup.
Yeah, definitely. New signing Patrick Dorgu,
Ooh, a debut.
potentially. It's always exciting to see how these new signings are going to fit in, what they bring to the team.
Absolutely. Fresh blood, new energy. I love it.
And of course, Diogo Dalot is back. He was suspended for the last match.
Right.
So that's going to be a big boost to their attack.
And we got to talk about the man between the posts.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Penalty Stopper himself.
Altay Bayindir. I
Yeah.
mean, that performance against Arsenal, unbelievable.
Ice in his veins. Do you think he can pull it off again if it comes down to penalties?
Honestly, I wouldn't bet against him at this point. But it's not all sunshine and roses for Man U. They've got some injury concerns, right?
They do. And some big ones. Losing Lisandro Martinez is a massive blow to their defense.
He's such a rock back there.
Absolutely. So that's a tough one to overcome. And then there's Luke Shaw,
Yeah, it looks like he might be out as well.
which means a potential defensive reshuffle. Could see Victor Lindelof coming in,
Okay,
or maybe even Matthijs de Ligt. They've got options, but it's not ideal.
definitely not. And of course, you can't talk about Man U's defense without mentioning someone who used to call Old Trafford home.
Oh, you mean Harry Maguire?
The one and only. Now he's facing his former team. Do you think that adds extra pressure, or do you think it's more of a motivator?
Ooh, good question. It's got to be a bit of both, right? I mean, you want to prove yourself to your old club, but also you don't want to have a howler in front of your old fans.
I'd be a nervous wreck. But speaking of Maguire, he hasn't had a lot of playing time recently, has he?
No, he hasn't. That's a good point. He could be a bit rusty. But then again, that fire in his belly to prove himself might just be enough to get him through.
Yeah, sometimes you need that extra edge. So we've got a potentially rejigged defense for Man U. On top of that, they're also missing Mount and Evans.
Yeah, definitely not at full strength.
So a bit depleted. Let's switch gears now and talk about Leicester. Their big question mark, at least from what I'm seeing, seems to be the fitness of Wilfred Ndidi.
Oh, Ndidi is key for them. Key. If he's fit, that's a massive boost, particularly defensively.
So if he plays, and that's a big if, we can see a really interesting battle in the midfield.
Absolutely.
Ndidi versus Bruno Fernandes.
Ooh, that's a clash of styles if I've ever seen one.
Talk to me about that.
Well, you've got Fernandez. He's all about creativity, pulling the strings, making things happen in the
In
attack.
fact, he's a magician with the ball.
He is. And then you've got Ndidi, who's more like a wall in front of the defense.
Breaking up plays, winning those tackles.
Exactly. So if Ndidi can keep Fernandez quiet, it could really disrupt Man U's rhythm.
Yeah, that midfield battle could be crucial to how this game unfolds. Now, besides Ndidi, Leicester might also have Woyo Koulibaly making his first start, which is always exciting.
Yeah, a chance for him to show what he can do. But unfortunately for Leicester, they're still dealing with some long-term injuries. Ricardo Pereira and Issahaku Fatawu, they're both still out.
Right, and just to add, Pereira's also out for Leicester, so they've got their own injury woes.
They do.
But, beyond the players, the thing that really intrigues me is the challenge facing Leicester's manager, Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Oh, yeah. It's a tough one. He's gotta juggle their FA Cup dreams, right?
Yeah.
With the very real threat of relegation looming over them. Does he risk playing his best players, potentially wearing them out for those crucial league matches?
Or does he say, look, Premier League survival comes first,
Exactly.
and put out a, slightly weaker team? And if he does that, does that give Man U an advantage? What do you think he'll do?
It's really tough to call. I mean, Van Nistelrooy is a clever manager. He's probably going to try and find some kind of middle ground,
Hmm.
maybe rotate some players, keep some fresh legs.
Yeah.
But even if he does make a few changes, you can't underestimate a Leicester team, especially if they can, target Man U's potentially makeshift defense.
That's what I was thinking. Man U's backline might be vulnerable. Which Leicester players do you see as the biggest threats?
Well, if he's fit, Jamie Vardy is always, always dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
His pace, his finishing, he can cause problems for any defense. And, James Maddison.
The Madison, yeah.
Don't underestimate his creativity. He can unlock a defense with a single pass.
It sounds like Leicester's strategy might be to hit Man U on the counter,
Makes sense.
use their speed, exploit any weaknesses in that Man U defense. But flipping it around, what about Man U's attack? Could that be more of a worry for Leicester, especially if they are playing a slightly weaker side?
That's a great point. If Leicester focuses too much on defense, Man U's attackers, even without a few key players, they have the firepower to really overwhelm them.
Yeah, it's going to be a tactical chess match, that's for sure. But that's what we love about the FA Cup, right?
Absolutely. It's unpredictable.
Anything can happen.
Exactly.
Will Leicester pull off another upset? Or will Man U just march on to the next round?
Here's something to think about as you're watching. We talked about, Leicester maybe playing a weaker team. Do you think that's the key for a Man U victory? Or will Leicester, with all that pressure on their shoulders, just rise to the occasion?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What are your predictions for this match?
Let us know.
I mean, the beauty of the FA Cup is that it's anyone's game. Yeah. You just never know what's going to happen.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Looking forward to it.